Welcome to The Queen's Lair, a lifestyle podcast. Get inspired by our latest tips and information about small business, entrepreneurship, natural hair, travel, food, and even relationships. Stay tuned for another great episode. I am your host, Renee Patrice. Welcome back to my podcast, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in once again. So we are still doing PODmas, you guys. We are doing an episode every day of December. So there's going to be 31 episodes by the end of December, which I'm really excited about. So we're keeping this going. We're almost halfway through, which is kind of interesting how we even got to this point. I've gotten some really good feedback. A lot of people are emailing me. People are sending me messages. It's really great. Thank you so much for tuning in and, being a part of this entire experience. I've never done anything like this before where I've done an episode that covers each day in a month. So it's really cool to see how this is shaken out. I absolutely love it. As promised, I am going to go through all of the different countries that are currently tuning in. So if you're tuning in from any of these places, please let me know. Send me a message on social media. My most active social media is Instagram. Yes, you heard my email just pop up. Even though it's Sunday, there's always something going on. So I can't even tell you. I told you these are going to have very little editing. As a matter of fact, I don't think I've edited any of them. So anything that was in there, coughing, sneezing, whatever, you hear my email pop up. Sometimes you may hear my phone ring or whatever. I'm not editing anything. And I haven't edited anything. That was a tongue twister. So far in these episodes. So let me give you the rundown. Thank you to all of these countries. Of course, the United States, United Arab Emirates, Ireland, Bahamas, Germany, Russia, United Kingdom, Australia, Canada, Spain, Mexico, Brazil, Philippines, India, Tanzania, Austria, Nigeria, New Zealand, South Africa, Switzerland, Pakistan, Uganda, Slovakia, Poland, Puerto Rico, Finland, and Singapore. Thank you so much to all of the people who are listening in those different countries. I cannot even express to you how that makes me feel. It really is just... it's so impactful to me because it lets me know that my podcast is literally reaching the world, which was not even the goal at this time. It was just to put information out there to help fellow business owners, entrepreneurs, that were in the lifestyle, media arena. I didn't really have any thought process as to how far my podcast would go. So thank you so much for listening from all those different places. I really appreciate it. We are at 36,553 downloads. Like that, does that even make sense to y'all? Do you understand what that 36,553 times individual people have downloaded, listened to, whatever, these podcasts. Incredible. Okay, so I'm going to jump into today's topic. Today's topic is therapy. Dun, dun, dun. No, let's not say it's due because it's not. Therapy is amazing. Okay, so I have a list, and I actually got this list from verywellmind.com, where it gives a list of the top 10 things and reasons why you should go to therapy. And I thought this list was really good because I agree with a lot of this. So let me go through the list and then I'll go through my own experience with therapy. And then we'll go from there. Okay, so the first one they have on the list, which I think is probably number one for a lot of people, is dealing with mood disorders. So things like depression, mood disorders that often start in the teen years. Actually, I think it can even start even before that, but I think they manifest, those sort of mood disorders kind of manifest a lot in the teen years. And, if left untreated, depression can last into adulthood. So if your teen seems irritable, sad, withdrawn, definitely talk to their doctor, their pediatrician, and find out exactly what's going on so you can get an accurate assessment of what's happening with them, because depression can lead to so many different things, and you end up having people harming themselves, and sometimes they don't even understand why. So depression is definitely a big thing. Anxiety disorders. This is more that I think people don't always understand what anxiety is. Anxiety isn't just feeling anxious about something. Anxiety literally can disrupt your life. It can paralyze you into this fear that just seems like you cannot get past. It's more than just being anxious about something. We all get anxious when we're about to start a new job and we don't know anybody, or moving to a new town and meeting new people. You may be anxious. I work in media and entertainment, so you do have artists that are anxious right before they get on stage and things like that. But anxiety is next level. It's an imbalance. All of these different things, depression and anxiety disorders, even very, very extremely happy people all the time, and then they're down on this low the next. This is an indication of imbalances within the body, in our brain, that is causing us to have these sharp highs and lows and things like that. And anxiety goes right in along with that. So that's definitely a thing to sit down with a therapist and figure out as well. If you're dealing with people who have these behavioral problems, if you're dealing with, a kid that is constantly getting suspended from school, and they're constantly breaking, curfews, and a lot of aggressive behavior, anger, flying off the handle in anger, especially for a situation that didn't warrant that sort of response. That is definitely a thing to sit down and talk with a therapist about. Substance abuse. We've all known this. I don't think there's substance abuse. I don't think it's something that touches every single person, either within your own family, somebody that you've known, maybe even you have dealt with substance abuse. It doesn't have to always be hard drugs. People think, it's always got to be heroin or, something like that. It really doesn't. It could be weed. You know what I'm saying? It could be too many beers, too many glasses of wine, So substance abuse, something that is interrupting your life to the point that it is becoming a problem. Yes, substance abuse. Here's something that we've all dealt with at some point in our lives: stress. Stress is major. Stress could be from family. Stress could be from work. Stress could just be yourself, or where you think you are in your life, and you may not be really where you want to be. That causes stress too. Finances cause stress. All these, so many different things that have stress factors to them. That is definitely a great thing to sit down with a therapist to work out, right? We see a lot of things happening with social issues, especially in school. If you're dealing with bullies, with your children, or sometimes people deal with bullies at work as adults. There are bullies at work in the 9-to-5 adult office. And that is definitely something that you want to sit down and talk to a therapist about. for sure. And then another thing I want to mention is if you're in the 9 to 5 world, check with your human resources division at your company and see if they have any work-life balance programs, because they often will have programs that you can take advantage of for free, or at least get the first few therapy sessions for free. So definitely check into that with your HR office. Now, we've also seen people go through things with different legal problems. If you're going through legal problems, that is also a major source of stress, a major source of confusion. And sometimes you need to sit down with a therapist to understand why you're going through the things that you're going through. Because you may fix your legal problems by getting your lawyer and doing all of that, but it still takes a toll on your mental, and it can take a toll on your physical. All right. So another thing is low self-esteem. We see this among the teen population, adult population, especially among women. And it's definitely a thing that happens with guys as well. But so many times when you talk about self-esteem, a lot of times it's geared towards women. All of us have not felt our best, but there are some people that really struggle to the point that they need some sort of intervention from a third party, and therapy is amazing for that. Another thing is trauma. If you've been through a traumatic situation, maybe you grew up in a very traumatic household and you've gone through trauma in your life as a child or even as an adult at the hands of people that you trusted, your parents. There's so many different levels of trauma. Maybe you were in a really bad accident and you just haven't been able to, be settled in your spirit about it. That's a very serious situation to deal with, and sometimes you need that extra help to walk through that. And a lot of times, if you've been through trauma, it often turns into levels of PTSD, which I actually have dealt with in the last year. So therapy has been amazing for that. And one of the final things that's listed here is grief. So I would say in the past few years, I've dealt with a traumatic situation and also with grief. And it is amazing when you have that third party who doesn't know you. Okay, I prefer to go to a therapist that knows nothing about me, because they don't have any preconceived notions about who I am or knew me since I was a kid or, that kind of thing. And I find that to work really well. It has been amazing for me. And it really teaches you a lot about yourself, because a lot of times we think that the problem is always other people, especially if you're going to therapy when you're dealing with personal situations, family dynamics. We always think it's the other people. But a lot of times it's us, even though the other people may be the folks that are doing wrong. But if you keep getting sucked into the situation, then there's something about you that is allowing yourself to be sucked into the trauma, get sucked into whatever that negative situation is. So sometimes you have to change your behavior in order to regulate other people's behavior, because you can't really make people do certain things, but you can teach yourself certain things, and that will allow the other people to be regulated in a way. You can't force them to do things, but you can regulate how much you deal with them and how much you let them into your space, right? So therapy has been wonderful. Yes, currently in therapy, love it. It just teaches me different steps and how to reason things out much better and understand that you're not alone in this life. You do have other people that go through the same things that you do. You won't be the first, and you certainly won't be the last, and it really has centered me quite a bit. So I wanted to give a couple of resources, and then I'm out of here until tomorrow. Okay. Let me give you a couple of resources which have been wonderful, which I have given to other people, which they found very helpful. There is a website called Therapy therapyforblackgirls.com. That's www.therapyforblackgirls.com. It gives you everything. They have a podcast that you can listen to, which I subscribe to that podcast for them. And it gives you a whole listing of where you can find a therapist. Also, there is therapyforblackmen.org. Okay, so therapyforblackmen.org. And this is wonderful. Both of these accounts, these companies I follow on social media, and I get such great insight to them. It's just very helpful. I follow the Therapy for Black Men as well, because I find that, if you're in a relationship or you're trying to be in a relationship or have been in a relationship, it just tells you another side. I don't want I'm just going to have therapy, for women, but I also want to learn how to have a better dynamic in personal relationships. So I follow both because I can glean and gather such great information from both sides. And I think that it's absolutely wonderful. So there's always wives having conversations on there, singles having conversations on there, and just people in general who just want to learn, So it has been very helpful. So therapyforblackmen.org, therapyforblackgirls.com. And please don't think that you have to be Black just to use these services. You do not. This is for everybody, but there definitely has been a serious mental health deficit within the Black community. So these two resources I have found to be super helpful. All right. Therapy. Definitely. If you have the opportunity to do it, please do it. Don't let anybody tell you that, therapy is this and therapy is that. And again, if you start going to therapy and maybe you're not meshing very well with that therapist, you are allowed to try somebody else. Don't just give up on therapy because you didn't sit well with said therapist. Find a therapist that fits, your lifestyle, that gets you, that understands you, and one that you actually feel comfortable. If you don't feel comfortable talking to your therapist, then you probably need to seek somebody else out, right? But don't give up on it because somebody told you, well, it didn't work for me. That's them. That is them. Right? Don't give up on something or decide that you're not going to do something because you don't want to get down to the root of the problem. Because I will give you a little tip. Therapy definitely hurts in the beginning because it feels like you're unearthing all of these things and emotions and all of that. But once you get past those initial first 3 to 5 meetings, after that, it is like an awakening. You feel free. You feel like you've unloaded this huge weight off of your back. It feels so good. It feels so good and so amazing. So I am a huge supporter of therapy, and I sing the praises of therapy every day. I really do. It's just something I think it will just free you. And if you're feeling like in bondage, whether it's just your mentals are just not free, therapy will help you sort all that stuff out, because sometimes talking to your friends is not going to fix it. Talking to your mom, your dad, whatever, it's just not going to fix it because they can't really have an objective view because they know you personally. But when you go to a third party that doesn't know you personally and they're just taking what you are giving them in that session, I find that to be very refreshing because there's no preconceived notions, So therapy. I hope you found this helpful. I hope that you go visit those websites, rewind this again and go back to those websites again, and definitely visit them and make an appointment and, send them an email and get the help that you need. We all come from different backgrounds with different baggage. Sometimes we come in with baggage that we didn't even know we had, so therapy for sure. Okay, so want to keep the conversation going, please follow me on social media at Onyx Queen Media. If you want to email me, info@onyxqueenmedia.com. Talk to you tomorrow, guys. Bye. Find savings simplified. Don't search for coupon codes ever again. With one click, Honey's smart shopping assistant will automatically apply discounts to your cart in seconds. Save on all your favorite things. Easily pay less for products you're already buying online. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3. Join Honey for free. It takes 2 clicks to add Honey to your Chrome, Safari, Firefox, or Opera browser. Find savings in seconds. While you shop, Honey will find working promo codes across the entire internet, and you save instantly. With one click, Honey will apply the best deals to your cart. It's that easy. So what are you waiting for? Get Honey. Download it today. Visit our link, www.tinyurl.com/ONYXHONEY. That's www.tinyurl.com/Onyx Honey. Start saving right now.